Welcome to Getting to the Truth in This Art. I am your host, Rob Lee, and today's guest is the owner of Doughboy Fresh Pretzel Company and noted pretzel lord, Jeff Carter Jr. Welcome to the podcast.
What's up, man? I appreciate it. How's it going?
It's going well. I mean, it's a little warmer than I want it to be right now because it's in like early November when we're recording this, but it's not too bad. Not too bad. How are you going?
I totally feel you on that too. I like fall weather. I get to layer up. My birthday's in October, so it's always a fun time of year. And I'm sure we'll talk about some of our products, but obviously Oktoberfest and pretzels just kind of make sense. So this is my favorite time of year as well.
Hell yeah. And happy belated birthday. So that's cool.
Appreciate it.
So let's talk about Doughboy Fresh a little bit. Describe your work. Describe what we're just going to get right into it. Describe it. What do we got?
Yeah, let's go. So Doughboy Fresh, we started as a food truck. I had the idea in college. I'm sure you're familiar. Have you ever been to Ocean City, Maryland by any chance?
Yes.
So are you familiar with the Rapper Down the Beach by any chance?
It's been a very, very long time.
Yeah, they do stuffed pretzels is next to the Polish water ice place.
Okay.
And when I was in college, I was always like, why isn't there just a handheld thing that I could just have while I'm eating and drinking? You know, beer in one hand, pretzel in the other. It just makes sense. And I started the company kind of based off that idea. I had the idea in college. In college, I studied hospitality management at York College, Pennsylvania. So it was always a field. I took food and beverage classes, stuff like that. But in actuality, I wanted to be in the casino industry, and that's what I did. So I started in the casino industry, and that's what I did in the hospitality field before I did any of the food stuff like that. But when I decided that I would only work so hard for someone else and I needed to work for myself, that's when the pretzel idea kind of came back to the forefront. And lucky enough for me, my family are business owners in town. My aunt actually has a catering hall, so I was able to have a place that I could get a license with and all that kind of stuff. A lot of my friends own some restaurants in town, so I was able to kind of get a lot of help along the way. And us being the guys we are, we support the ones that support us. So a lot of those people that help me out, we now have a lot of menu items with and stuff like that. So with the food truck, we were doing a lot of the brewery scene. Yeah. I mentioned that we did beer and pretzels, kind of just went hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it just works perfect. And then keeping the local feel. Obviously, the brewery scene around here is pretty happening. I know Monument City we've done, Union we've done, Waverly we've done, pretty much everybody in town. Key Brewing, pretty much any of them, you name it.
Yeah.
But then you kind of not exhaust that, but once you get a taste of people liking your product and people liking your brand, then you want to figure out how you can get it to more people.
Yeah.
And that's when we started expanding the product line from just the stuffed pretzels to the loaded bites. Everything that was inside of our pretzels, we started putting on top. So then we went from breweries to events.
Yeah.
So it's a shareable thing. So like, let's say you're on a date with somebody, you go to the Trifecta, which would be one of our biggest events every year.
Yeah.
We then wanted products that you could share, and we wanted products you could take pictures of. Like, you can't really take a picture of a stuffed pretzel.
No.
Because you can't really see what's inside. So you need to experience it to actually fully get how good it is. So with us doing the loaded bites, it worked out really well because now people are taking pictures of it, and then, the power of social media, and we were able to kind of grow from there. And yeah, it seems like every year we're kind of just taking a different step. So we're about 3 years in. Year one was the food truck. Year two was bites. And with COVID and stuff, we had to get real creative. We started doing a lot more wholesale work.
Okay, yeah.
But again, goes back to our collaborative nature. So I'm not a food guy, I like to say. I think I'm more of a brand guy. And that's where it works out well for me. So I want to align with good brands like a Johnny Rad's, like a Snake Hill, like a Riverside Tap House, like a Delia Foley's. All those guys and girls, they make better food than I do. So I might as well be able to make my product and let them elevate it. You know what I mean? So I can actually put it in their hands. They can use their creative minds to grow my product, and we do it together.
That's smart. And I think, collaboration is something that I've seen. I think that's why your brand came to my attention based off of a collaboration. It's a little far back. I don't remember the exact collaboration, but I think it was with like a rapper, and I was like, all right. And it may have been a name or something. I don't remember exactly what it was.
I was gonna see if we were gonna touch on any of the rap music kind of stuff. So Doughboy Fresh is a 3-6 Mafia song.
Yes, it is.
That's where we got our inspiration from. I don't know if you could tell I'm decently influenced by Memphis rap. Not many people are going to be able to see me, obviously, because we're just talking here. But I think you can kind of see that I got a little bit of a vibe to myself.
Yeah,
I think one of the biggest things that's been great for us is can we cuss here or no?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So Fuck That's Delicious with Action Bronson. I'm sure you're familiar with those guys. I've always been a huge fan of theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And within 8 weeks of the company, we were already working with those guys.
And I think that was the collaboration that caught my attention. It was something that was there, and I was like, Action Bronson, because I'll take note. Like, I was one of those adopters before Fuck That's Delicious came out. One of those kind of like not necessarily early adopters, but kind of got in between like maybe a few years ago, and then I started looking at that back catalog, and then looking at any collaboration that was there with food, because ultimately. One of the things that I think we have here in Baltimore and around Baltimore, we have a lot of unique food. We have a lot of like interesting food, and
a lot of geographic centric food. Like the crab dip bites was so. Mayhem Loren is probably Action's like right hand guy. I'd say Mayhem's done a lot for us. I really, really appreciate them. I think we're actually going to go back up to New York in December, so I'll see him again, which would be great. The crab dip stuffed pretzel was the one that they tasted. Yeah. It's actually a crazy story. My food truck, one of my generators broke at our lunch job.
Oh no.
We had a lunch job, and then we were going to go down to Silver Spring to go see their concert. I was like, yo, we're taking the truck down. I'm not leaving until they try. Like, I'll just post out back until they pull up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened. Mayhem did a little meet and greet signing thing afterwards. We told him, like, yo, we got a food truck out back here. Taste this. And he's like, cool, we'll be out in an hour. And then kind of just stayed in contact and done a handful of events with those guys and jobs with those guys. But it's no secret that they're real players in this food scene when we talk on a national scale.
Yeah.
And obviously it brings legitimacy to our brand, which is great. But those guys inspired me to even go after this.
Yeah.
Those guys, I kid you not, are exactly what you see on TV is exactly who you get in person.
Yeah.
A lot of people tell you to not meet your heroes because you'll get disappointed.
Yeah.
But those guys showed me that if you can just be authentically yourself and, like I said, support the ones that support you and keep your people in your circle, you can be successful with those people. You don't need nobody else. You just need the support system that you got. And that's what we truly have in Baltimore. And I say that we're hyper collaborative because we want to work with everybody and anybody, because if I have a food truck, let's say in Dundalk, but I'm taking pulled pork from SoPro in Canton and I'm working in a Hamden brewery like Waverly, that just made the city smaller.
It did. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So people that it's no secret in Baltimore. I know that we're supposed to highlight Baltimore and I am going to highlight Baltimore, but there's a little bit of, neighborhood centric. Does that make sense?
No,
there's some people that don't really leave their neighborhoods.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if we're able to not infiltrate, but introduce other neighborhoods, it might tell somebody from Hamden, oh, yo, shit, let's pop over to Dundalk real quick.
Yeah, and it's funny because like I had a conversation with Jasmine from Urban Oyster.
Work with Jasmine. Jasmine's tight as shit. So we worked with Jasmine.
She was talking about that. She was talking about that notion that people, like, we were joking about it. It's like, oh, I don't want to go over west. I don't want to go over east, because it's like Baltimore's not that big, really.
No, it's not. It's kind of weird, but it's cool though, because I didn't really leave until I had this business. Yeah. I didn't need to go nowhere because I always had my people in my circles and I never really had to go anywhere. So when I was able to work these jobs and kind of go to some areas of town, it's been fun, man. Like, I lived in Dundalk the majority of my life, like Dundalk, East Baltimore, Canton, Bayview area.
Yeah, I'm in this area. I'm in near the medical center. That's where I'm at, Collington.
Okay, perfect. So I grew up on, I lived on Drew Street over by Bayview Hospital.
Okay, yeah.
My dad's business is on Eastern Avenue. My aunt's business is on Oldham Street. But just starting the business, man, I've been able to see so many more different places. And shit, I went from just living in Dundalk to where now I've already lived in Mount Vernon and Fed Hill in the past 6 months just because I want to check out new areas. And it's really cool, man. It's fun. It was. I don't think I would have seen as much of Baltimore if it wasn't for my business. That's
really like interesting because like one of the things that I wanted to do and to backdoor into was kind of almost a travel show, but within Baltimore of different food places. Because again, like I think that these things don't get the acknowledgement and the due that they should get. And you can be like, I've lived in Baltimore forever. I've never heard of this place. And it goes back to the point you were making about this kind of neighborhood centric vibe. Like,
yeah, everybody's real geographic centric, but there's so much here, man. Yes. There's so much. It's just, and this is why we work with the people that we work with is if one of us is bound to make it, and by make, I mean, one of us is bound to be a national brand.
Yes.
Like there needs to be more national brands that are associated with this area. So
yeah.
If I'm using cheese sauce, I'm not going to make my own. I'm going to ask Snake Hill to use his cheese sauce.
Yes.
I'm going to use Johnny Rad's marinara. I'm not going to use my marinara because let's say I take off and I become national, then I'm taking them with me. Or if they do the same thing, I know they're doing that with me as well.
Because
I'm not just investing in myself. I'm investing in all the other businesses that I love and support. Because somebody's bound to make it for all of us.
I dig that. Like it's kind of the same vibe I'm trying to get across when it comes to podcasting. Like I've been doing this podcast thing for almost 12 years. And, you know, you try to reach out and people are very, hey, I need to just get this. I need to be the lead of this. I need to do this. I need to do that. My thing has always been collaborative. And it's like, all right, I know more about this than you. You know, not in a kind of dickish way, but it's like, I know more about this than you. And I'm extending that hand to like, let's work together. Let's make this thing work. Because that same philosophy of if someone checks out what we're doing, it will change the perception of, oh, well, guys from Baltimore don't podcast, or guys from Baltimore only do this, or women from Baltimore only do this. It gives us a more unique and part of the conversation instead of we're something that's just overlooked. And I think working with people that are collaborative and it makes sense from a brand perspective, is this congruent with what you want to put out there? Are they putting out a good product? Or is it something that you enjoy? Can you work with them? That's the best way to do it. Because when you see somebody's product and you'll see like their thing and you're trying whatever they have, whether it be your pretzels or whatever the case is, and then you see this other thing, my natural thought is like, oh, that's cheese from Snake Hill. Oh, let me check them out. What do they have?
Exactly. So that was kind of what I was telling you. Like somebody took a bite of our pretzels and they were like, yo, this pulled pork's really good. Where'd you get it from? Yeah. Or did you make it? And I said, no, my buddy made it at his place in Canton. Go check out Bull Spot in Canton. It's just, we always did it. So now us having the wholesale line just makes so much sense because we were already doing that kind of stuff beforehand, but backwards, where I was just getting from them, but yet they weren't getting much. Like they'd get bites from me, or they would get notoriety, or they would get exposure. But now we can both share. They share on their social media platform the menu item. I share it on my platform on the menu, on my social media, that menu item and stuff. And it just, the collaborative thing, it's something that it really looks like it's starting to take off more in Baltimore. But I think it was something that wasn't too big of a thing as recently as a couple years ago.
I agree.
Everyone kind of wanted to do things in their own lane. And like I said, I know we want to highlight Baltimore here, but I also kind of want to keep some of my peers accountable because Baltimore, the infrastructure as a whole is not that different from Philadelphia, or it's not that different from DC, or it's not that different from New York. But the problem is we have this weird, like, almost like little man syndrome where we're not that big city. We haven't won the sports championships. Yeah. We haven't won the Ravens since 2012.
Yeah.
The colleges, just think about the colleges. how many good Maryland basketball players have you heard of in the last couple of years? But I sure know guys that played basketball that were from here,
right?
That left. So I want to try and figure out why we're not enough homegrown, and I want to be one of those players in keeping people here until we can all grow together, rather than people cutting their teeth here and then going to blow up somewhere else.
That's one of the things that's kind of interesting. Like in having these interviews with different artists and so on, I've heard different things. Some will come here because my vibe, and maybe you agree with this, but my vibe is there's such a degree of authenticity here, to your point of cutting your teeth. You'll come here, you'll get that degree of credibility, and then suddenly you've left. And what I try to do is vet through people. It's like, what's your connection to Baltimore again? Run that back for me. Because we're very authentic and we know what's good. It may not come out as the most refined thing, but we know what's good and we know what's bullshit.
Absolutely. So I tell people, we're extremely rough around the edges, but we got stars in our eyes. Like, there's a ton of potential. It is one of the things that maybe Baltimore as a whole have to look at ourselves and be like, what things do we need to do to where we're now a cultural epicenter? Yeah. Because the culture's here. The culture is very, very much here. If you walk these streets, you see the culture's here. Yes. It's just other people don't see it, and it doesn't give people, I don't know, necessarily a reason to join this community. A lot of people start here and, like you said, leave. Not many people see opportunity in Baltimore and want to come down here and see, oh, well, you know what? Maybe I can do something like this here in Baltimore. But I'm in, let's say, York, Pennsylvania, like where I went to school. Yeah. People they'll shoot up to Philly. They won't come down here because they see opportunity in Philly. I want to help build here, ground up, homegrown, and just build opportunity for all of us. You know what I mean? I have a huge social responsibility to this town. I'm fully well aware that if I opened my business in any town, I wouldn't have grown as fast as I have. And I wouldn't have been as successful as I have if it wasn't for this town. That's
great. And I like to hear that you want to build it up, because I've juggled with that notion a few times myself. And, like, I like to combine what pays me with doing this creative stuff. So the podcast is a passion project. It's creative. I enjoy it. It's fun. But also I have to work a day job, as a lot of people do when they're doing a creative thing. So when opportunities present themselves, I've had opportunities to move to LA, opportunities to move to New Orleans, Jersey, Philly, and I stayed here because of the podcast. I've taken less money to stay here because I want to grow and be a part of growing up what Baltimore is and what talent we have here. And that's important to me. And it sounds like that's important to you. So that's great.
Oh, that's all this is, because I don't know if it's wording it this the right way, but everyone's made money before. You've made money. I've made money. If I wanted to make money, I would just go get another job. Yeah. I want to build a brand, and I want to build something that may be here and be known and correlated with this town when I'm not here. Like, let's say 50 years from now, 60, 70 years from now, I may not be here, but I want Doughboy Fresh to still be here. Right.
I dig it.
And that's one of the things that we work the way we do, we operate the way we do, and it has a real foothold in just the company as a whole. We really focus on collaboration, we focus on authenticity, and we also focus on social responsibility.
I dig it. Oh yeah. So
man. I mean,
I have a few more questions I want to go through before we get towards the last segment or so. But go ahead and finish that thought you had. I want to let you finish that thought. I just wanted to let you know that.
Yeah. So, I don't want to go with too much of a tangent, but I think you and me both know. I think everyone knows that we're at a very pivotal spot now. I mean, this is being recorded in November. Yeah. So not sure when this will get released, but obviously a lot of political stuff going on and stuff like that. But what people need to understand is, as much as they believe in government and stuff like that, if you support your local businesses the way you do on Facebook, sharing who you voted for, we can do just as much. Maybe not just as much for you, but communities get built around business. They get built around these kind of things. I remember when we first got the building in Dundalk, a lot of people are like, yo, what are you going to Dundalk for? I'm like, yo, Fun Dog, baby. That's where I'm from. What are you talking about? I know it's Fun Dog, man. I'm telling you, watch, come here. But people don't understand that there is truly a opportunity because I can have people from the county come see me because I'm just over the line. I'm 10 minutes from Canton Square, so my city people can still see me.
Yes.
Dundalk is now an area where people are getting their first home and stuff like that. But you need anchors to be built around it. So one woman sent me an email when we first were saying we were going to Dundalk, and she said, I was at the grand opening of Nacho Mama's in Canton.
Yeah.
And what was Canton before Nacho Mama showed up? Scunny, we all have to give Scunny mad props. My dad was at the first Ravens Super Bowl with Scunny. That dude right there, he bought cotton candy for every single person in his section. That's not something that I'm telling because it's like a cool story, but it's something because it speaks to the character of what Baltimore is, and it speaks to the business owners that you can support just as much as a political party. But in actuality, we can help you too.
Yeah,
we can help everything. If people understand social responsibility and they understand that this town makes them money and the people that in this town supplies that, I wish more people thought that way because I shit you not, we'd be in top 10 places to live real quick.
Yeah, like when some of this stuff first went down, and I was still as far as the shutdowns and all of that stuff with COVID, I've got friends that are business owners that I've, restaurants and things like that I've interviewed for this podcast, Chris from Sophomore, Chris from Forged, on Kelly's, in even Big Improv where we were recording that normally. And all those places, it's just look, I think that they make up what the culture of Baltimore is and buy a gift card and, kind of doing that thing where I want to say for maybe a month, every weekend during the course of a month, I was spending $200 to $300 at different local businesses to support. Now, in some instances, not all of them were, on the wave. It was just not even an acknowledgement, but it was kind of yeah, well, we're all in a bad spot, and I'm out there putting out ads and doing all of this stuff to try to do my part because I like what these places do, and I admire the people that are there, and I'm kind of friends with some of them. So it's let's, do that, and I think that's important. I think it's important to support your neighbors in the city.
Man, I tell you what, if COVID didn't show you a lot of people's true colors and how they operate, I mean, I love being in this service industry. I absolutely love it. And it was scary when there was an uncertainty of what this industry was going to look like.
Yeah.
But again, man, if you keep yourself in the right circle and you support the ones that support you, there ain't too much to worry about. It ended up, I'm happier now doing the wholesale line than some of the stuff that we were doing prior because I'm getting excited about it again. I was forced this way. Of course, I was 2 weeks from having my grand opening at my building.
Yeah,
we had Pretzel Mania all planned out first weekend in April.
That's
and
fire, actually.
We're big wrestling guys. I don't know if you noticed that either. We're huge wrestling guys.
Same here.
I got Ric Flair right here, the Wu-Tang W on my shoulder.
Nice.
I got when Animal passed away, I got his face paint on my shin. I got
a Shinsuke Nakamura sign thing. I saw him at his last indie show in Philadelphia, and that's
word.
Me. And I couldn't watch the match. I was just no words. I'm just going to wait in this line the entire time because I wanted to get autographs.
No bullshit. You and me, let's go out to Philly for a wrestling show. Baltimore is fun for wrestling, but Philly's a hot crowd.
It's definitely a hot crowd.
Philly is a hot crowd. My childhood best friend works for the Philadelphia 76ers, so I'm lucky enough to have a hookup with some tickets up there.
Yeah.
Next time, you and me, let's pop one up.
That's dope. Let's do it. Because
seriously, no bullshit. Hold me to that.
No, absolutely. Because I've gone to more New Japan shows than anything else. I did the 2 G1 things. The when I was in Dallas last year, flew down there for what they do it always 4th of July.
Did you see the Super Juniors Cup? You got Leo Rush there. Leo Rush is a DC guy.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Wrestling. I don't agree with everything Leo Rush does, but I'm at least give Leo Rush props when I can.
I'll give him some run. I mean, I just been trying to catch up with it. And New Japan has been great, and I've kind of stumbled into watching some of the old stuff from NWA Power. So watching that. So just kind of been catching the streams and things like that. So that's dope. I will hold you to that. We'll talk further about that.
Definitely. Or a GCW show. Have you seen any GCW, Game Changer Wrestling?
No, I've not.
Yo, they got some cool shit up in Jersey. Those guys are tight. Oh, hold up. Let me tell you one story while we're talking about wrestling.
Yeah.
So we have a program where my buddy, his name's Brain Eaters. He's an artist guy in town, and he's a big wrestling fan. And whenever we do pop-ups at breweries and stuff, we kind of like to have an artist with us or somebody else with us to kind of just, it's fun to have your friends around. Let's both make a little bit of coin and drink a couple drinks.
Oh, yeah.
His real name is Ronnie. He drew us a Doughboy Fresh kind of like logo picture thing, and it was with Bret Hart's glasses.
Fire.
So we made that as a shirt. He just drew it up, and we put it on a shirt, and we started this whole artist series where I have local artists, and we do a 50-run shirt.
Yeah.
I'll sell them for $30 each. I get $10 on the sale. They get $10 on the sale. And the screen printer, Pangea Printing, gets $10 on the sale. So we all profit share, and we all blow it up. Well, we actually fed a few wrestlers before, and we had a decent social media presence with some of those guys.
Yeah.
Joey Janela wore that shirt on AEW Dynamite, and I got pics to prove it.
Wow.
Yeah, he wore our shirt, so just a fucking dude drawing up wrestling shit in Hamden, hanging out with some dude slinging some pretzels in Dundalk, and yet we're on national TV with some dude who's known for jumping off 20-foot ladders.
Right.
So that's the type of shit that's so fun to me. Like, that's something that's not an opportunity that I would get if not for this business.
Absolutely.
This business gave me a lot of opportunities personally as well as professionally. Like, I was a huge fan of Action and Mayhem, and to be side by side with those guys sometimes is very surreal.
Yes.
It's kind of like, shit, where do I go now? This was my biggest, shit, this is what I always wanted to do.
Like, what's next?
So, what's next? But yeah, man, the wrestling stuff, and it's so fun to see where your craft can kind of take you personally as well, too. It's really, really, really fun. You and me, we definitely got to check out a wrestling show. I'm psyched that we did this. This was really fun.
So last few questions I have, and then shamelessly plug your brands and all of that stuff at the end.
Absolutely.
And these are like rapid fire kind of questions. So name 3 of your favorite street foods.
Street foods?
Yeah.
So, dude, this is what sucks. I am the pickiest eater known to man.
Wow.
I'm so bad. I'm the pickiest eater. Now, I do have some food, but they're going to be maybe a little basic or a little I don't know, rudimentary, I guess.
Basic is fine. I've been told I was bougie when it comes to my food choices. I'm like, I'll have a nice crab cone with the finest of aiolis and over a bit of steak fries.
Oh, so you're talking about Gypsy Queen.
I am talking about Gypsy Queen passively, yes.
No, I'm talking about Gypsy Queen. Like, Gypsy Queen is who you look at in Baltimore food truck scene.
Yes.
I never fully immersed us in the food truck scene. I more understood that being in the food truck scene could give validity to us and prove our concept, and we could grow from there.
Absolutely.
Them right there, they're the pinnacle of Baltimore food trucks. There's not many people that do it better than them, if anyone. So I don't even know them like that, but I'm going to give credit where credit's due. So Gypsy Queen with that aioli shit, absolutely, they're awesome.
When we did our 10th anniversary show, it was the thing I set up at Big Improv, set up almost the whole thing, ran doing events and stuff. And I really missed it because it was a lot of fun. And what did we have for our post show meal? We went to the truck restaurant and we got loose. We had a damn great time. It was 10 to 12 of us there. It was good.
Yeah, they're serious players. They put out some really, really, really good stuff. I admire them a lot. We when we were first cutting our teeth, we were doing the Rotunda. They had the farmers markets over there, and their line, I shit you not, was 20 times as long as ours. And it's just, but that's what it is. When you're going up against them, you got to bring your game because they're top notch. They're top notch people.
Oh yeah.
So for my foods, I guess let me see if I can keep it in the food truck realm because it would just make sense with being food trucks. There's this dude, I think it's 410 Empanadas.
Okay.
This guy is. We did a little Canton farmers market that ended up not materializing too much and being an elongated thing, but they're still do the Fells Point one. Mm-hmm. So that dude, whenever I see him, I love to get his stuff. There's actually a couple new guys that I want to give some credit to. They're not a food truck. I actually know them from DC. They go by Bunned Up in DC, but they're Rice Crook here.
Mm-hmm.
They're in Cross Street Market. I really, really like what those guys do. They do like little bows.
Okay. Yeah.
Super good street food. And there's another one I missed. Damn, it sucks because they're actually in DC now too. They used to be in Mount Vernon Marketplace, was Alvolo. Did you ever have Alvolo, the Italian joint?
No, I didn't. I didn't have it. I would always go over there. You're saying Mount Vernon. I would always go into the back and get like between two buns or go to Pinch because I got a connection there.
Oh, where over Pinch?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it Chino? I'm assuming it's Chino. Are we going to do a Baltimore food show? We're not going to drop a Chino line?
Yeah, we'll drop a Chino line. We'll reference Chino, but I know a few people there or whatever. It's one of those spots for me.
I appreciate Chino a lot. He reposts us a decent amount of times, man. And, it's just cool to just get support from people that you followed even prior to getting into this industry. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of cool to get stuff like that. So I'm sure it was a pretty lame answer, but again, I'm the worst person to eat with. I'm the worst. Absolutely awful. I'm fun as hell to drink with. Okay. Fun as hell to drink with, but I'm not the best.
We'll add that to the list as well then. So I got one last question, and then again, I'll thank you for coming on to the pod. Aside from your work, there's some creative stuff there. You have the branding and the marketing, the hospitality background. What are some of your other creative interests or talents?
My creative interests or talents, we touched on it. Wrestling is a big thing of mine. Wrestling's huge for me. Yeah. But I love clothes too. I was telling you we were doing the artist series. Mm-hmm. I'm one that buys like streetwear. I buy vintage. I do all that kind of stuff. I don't like wearing the same thing twice. But what I'm learning now is with the shirts thing with our artist series, and hey, if any artists hear this, hit us up. We would love to do a shirt with you. We do them every month. Send your designs in. We'd love to do that. Is to build our own. Yeah. Why am I wearing somebody's stuff from Atlanta? I've been in Atlanta once. I want a layover.
Same.
So you know what I did? I called up Frico Rico and I just DM'd him. If you know who he is, he actually did Action's Mr. Wonderful album cover.
Yes.
And I was a little sauce, and I hit up Frico Rico and just shot my shot. I was like, hey, man, we're doing this artist series. Any chance you want to do it? And that'll be the one coming out next. Is he actually did a shirt with us. So
that's fire.
The guy that did an album cover with the rapper that I look up to, who has a collaboration with one of the streetwear brands. He's worked with Reebok. He's worked with Mishka. Like he's doing good stuff. To me now have one of those things is really, really cool. So I want to grow that product line as well as the pretzels, obviously. And just grow the Doughboy Fresh brand and whatever that can be in any facet. If it ends up being some cool wrestling stuff, let it be some cool wrestling stuff. If it ends up being some clothes, let it be some clothes. And obviously the food, we're going to keep it the way it is. We're going to keep doing us and keep doing the food how we do it. I mean, it's kind of hard to make pretzels interesting. So that's what we're trying to do. There's no such thing as a high-end upscale pretzel brand. And that's one of the things that we're trying to build.
That's fantastic. I like everything I've heard. This has been a great conversation. And
sorry if I was rant. I feel like I'm dominating. This wasn't a real
no. See, it's about the guests. It's not about me. I talk all damn day. But it's about the guests, and it was great talking with you about this. So feel free, shout out your brand. You know, where can he find you? Where can he check out all these stuff?
Absolutely. Check out Doughboy Fresh Pretzel Company. Again, this is recorded in like November time, so we're still in peak COVID, kind of dealing with that. So we're not doing too many events and stuff. But check out our wholesale partners. We have products with Johnny Rad, Snake Hill, Riverside Tap House has been a huge, huge supporter of us. Those are some new guys down on Light Street in Fed Hill. Definitely check them out. We picked up AJ's on Hanover. We have Delia Foley's. We have Southern Provisions. We have Black Eyed Susie's. There's a ton of places you can check us out. Definitely take a look on our social media at doughboyfresh.pretzelco. It's the same on Facebook as well, doughboyfresh.pretzelco. We have a lot of content. We're a very content-based company. And like I said kind of earlier, I don't know if that'll air or not, is we do share a lot of our wholesale partners' products as well. So you'll get introduced to not just what we do, but also who we support.
Absolutely. Well, that's great. Thank you again. And And I would do my sign off.
Hit me up real quick. My bad. Hit me up offline and we'll talk about that wrestling stuff.
Okay. Let me do my sign off real quick. So for Jeffrey Carter Jr., I'm Rob Lee saying there's dope food in and around Baltimore. You just have to look for it.